We all try and help in some way or another, but sometimes we overstep from helping people because we just think it's the right thing to do. We think it's the right thing to help, and we just don't think about the consequences or maybe the heartbreak or the hurt that it can cause, or maybe somebody just feeling like, they are a burden in some way because we didn't ask for permission first. And this kind of happened to me and my brother. My dad goes to Florida every year. And one year he was away to Florida and he started, going down a little bit with his muscles and with his care and his independence. And he was selling his place in Florida and they were coming back in April, I think, of that year. But he came back and my brother and I had gone in and we had changed a bunch of stuff at the house. We put in we had a commode at the house. We had a toilet riser on the toilet seat so that it wasn't so low for him because he was losing his energy and his breathing, and he had a hard time doing even conversations or talking was hard for him, and he was getting really out of breath. So we started to put some things in the house and got him a shower chair for the shower, and got one of those shower hanging nozzles so that it had an extension cord on it, or an extension tubing, so that he could sit in the chair if he wanted to and still be in the shower. We put in like an air conditioning because he really needed it for his breathing, and it was one of the ones that it had the exhaust that went out the window, but it was on the floor and you can move it around. But there were so many different things that we did. Dad came home and he was so angry. He called me and he's like, "Get over here and get all your crap out of this house. I don't need this stuff." We learned with Dad that he did not want things until he was desperate to need them or use them. There was a time when he had oxygen and he would not wear it. He would be turning gray. He couldn't breathe because he had COPD, and it was so hard on him, but he didn't care because he was worried about his status and how people perceived him, and they thought he was weak. And he was 100 years old, and nothing wrong with being 100 years old, but for him, he felt like people just saw him differently as a weak old man. And he told me this. He goes, "I don't want a walker. I don't need it. I don't need my oxygen all the time." But he learned really quickly that he needed his oxygen because when he took it off, he was really struggling, and trying to catch up was even harder for him. But having all that equipment and all those changes and us not asking, we thought it was a great surprise. We were doing all this for Dad. It was going to save him so much energy and time, and he didn't have to worry about things. Well, it wasn't like that. We didn't ask permission. It was his house, and he was very hurt by it. He was very angry about it. So we took everything out of the house, went back over there, and I just said, we're going to keep all this equipment. We're not returning anything because when Dad is ready, he'll let us know. So I even talked to my stepmom and I said, if he knows you might need something, he'll want it in the house because it's for you, it's not for him. So she had actually told him, "I would really like a shower chair in the tub or in the shower because I can't reach my feet," something like that. So he had called us up one day, Dad did, and he goes, "Can you bring that shower chair back? My wife could really use it. She said that it's easier for her to sit down and reach her feet." And I just thought, this is great, because she made it about her, and my dad was always taking care of and helping other people in the family. So he would do something because of, his wife or his kids. So it's just something like that. But, you always have to ask for permission, ask to be just ask for respect, because it's their home and we need to respect that. We need to respect them and love them and just be there. It's great. I still had the equipment at home and we didn't miss out or lose anything. The shower nozzle was still up. There wasn't anything, that he was going to do about that. It was still attached and he still wanted the air conditioner there. There were just some other things that we took out, but when he was ready, slowly but surely, when he asked, we brought things over to the house again. And it was great because we already had it. He would call me and say, "Hey, do you still have that piece of equipment?" And I'm like, "Sure do." So it's great to have that stuff in place or keep it at home and just have it in case, because you never know when somebody's going to need it. And it's great to have. That equipment's just going to get more expensive over time anyway, so it's really great to have. But just make sure you respect and you love your parents or whoever you're caring for at home, and just ask, because permission is always better. Yes, they will forgive you in time, but it can be a really awkward position you're put in or an awkward conversation. So make sure that you have the tools to give them when they need it, because it will definitely make things easier for your loved one and for you.